Hello everyone, this is Jotto and welcome to Versus Series, where a member of my team, Acebreakers, faces off against a well-known up-and-coming pro player. Now, this week we have Icegirl from Team Acebreakers facing off against GameKing from Lucky Draw. Yes, the GameKing has returned. Now, Versus Series will be going through the Conquest Best of 5 format, which is what we used last week. Now, the idea is that at some point we're going to figure out whether Best of 5 is too long or not. As it turns out, I have not had that opportunity because last week was a 3-0 sweep. So as a result, for obvious reasons, there were not 5 games. So anyway, Best of 5 still up in the air. Put it in the comment section whether or not you prefer Best of 3 or Best of 5. Best of 5 accounts for more decks, so we get to see more diversity, but then on the flip side of things, there's also the considerable drawback of time. Now, before we get into things, the deck choices on both sides of things, we have Icegirl with Paladin, Druid, and Warrior, and GameKing has brought Priest, Mage, and Shaman. Now, throughout this version of Versus Series, I'm actually going to have the deck lists up in front of me so that I can refer to the deck lists if required if I'm looking for a certain card. However, they will not be on the screen. So without further ado, let's get on to the first game. As we have Icegirl starting with Druid and GameKing will be starting with the Priest. Now remember, Conquest is kind of in reverse where the winner has to switch and the loser can switch instead of the other way around. Now, was that a recombobulator? That seems interesting. In terms of mulligans here, I would actually say against Priest you mulligan everything that isn't Zombie Chow. Maybe you keep the Sen'jin. The problem is against Priest, it's not that good. Alright, just choosing to send back everything. Does get the Chow back though. Now let's look at this Priest deck a bit. Now, there are 2 recombobulators in this list, according to this at least, there are 2 recombobulators, so that should provide an interesting show if they do in fact get drawn and or played. Turn 1, Zombie Chow, pretty basic start. On the flip side of things, we have nothing for the first 2 turns on the side of the Priest, although not that uncommon, and then the side of the Druid, not really much. So this is a slower start to the game. In fact, this is going to balance out vastly in the other direction when there is a Dark Cultist. Now the Dark Cultist is just going to eat this Zombie Chow, and that's not very good. There's no, I mean, he could coin swipe. Do you coin swipe? I think you may have to. This is so much advantage lost if you don't. I don't know. This seems rough. I think you may have to coin swipe here because this is so much advantage that you lose if you don't coin swipe here. Basically, if you don't, then the cultist eats it for free, gets healed up, and then you're in a really rotten situation. So yeah, going for the swipe makes absolutely perfect sense. Now, on the side of the Druid, what do we have here? Now, by the looks of it, this is a 1 Force of Nature deck. With a Sunwalker, should be interesting, and just a lot of one-offs. So this is a Ramp Druid in its entirety, a bit slower than normal. It's running 2 Savage Roars, 1 Force of Nature, so no double combos, sort of the 1.5 combos, I guess. Yeah, going for the Hero Power trade here is absolutely fine, not much else to do with the mana. The Shaded Axaramus is a good draw there, but dies to Holy Nova. So just kill off half the Shredder, see what he gets. Mana Wraith! That is so unfortunate. That is so miserable. And double powered shield. This is not going anywhere. Wow. This is a large. That mana wraith is large and in charge right now. The thing is huge. Just going for that shade and pass. This is really miserable. I think that might be the game. Right there. Need a Keeper of the Grove. I mean, at this point you just go Sludge Belchers, and then you want to try and maybe save your claws if you can get away with it. Now, notice that GameKing actually didn't Holy Nova last turn because there was no need to. The Azure Drake would provide the spell power boost required to kill the 3-3 anyway. So it didn't go for it. Yeah, trading off there is okay. It's not fantastic, but it's okay. Holy Nova would be an absolute blowout, whereas now it's only a sort of blowout. It still is, but it's not quite as accentuated as it was. To be honest, I do not see a way back from this. I simply do not. I don't know if you play the zombie chow here. No, not going for the zombie chow. There's the Wrath. Does that do anything is the real question here. Do you just have to go Druid of the Claw and taunt? Try and survive till turn 9, then use the combo to kill this? Wrath really doesn't do anything. I guess you could Wrath Hero Power. Yeah, that does something. Wrath Hero Power and then just go from there. This Mana Wraith is really quite deadly. It's so hard to deal with this thing. And the Sylvanas, and I don't know. I think this might be the last turn. There's a Vojin to deal with any taunts, which is kind of amusing. But yeah, we got the Senjin and Hero Power. I think Druid of the Claw was the better play there regardless. You could just Druid of the Claw and then it doesn't matter. He can't steal it anyway. Although, to be absolutely perfectly fair, it does not make a difference. Going for that Vojin, and just Vojin, swap, hit the face for 1 extra damage. And I guess you can just play out North Shard for the sake of it. And that is going to be game. No way out of that situation on the side of Icegirl. Just straight up conceding. Now, notice that it doesn't actually matter if you show the Vojin there, because Conquest means that the winner has to switch decks, as the Priest is now entirely used up. Now, in this case, GameKing goes 1-0 up and has to switch decks, and then Icegirl has the option of switching decks. Now, based on the Yeti, this is looking to be Mech Shaman. Yep, there is a Spider Tank in that hand. This is Mech Shaman, and facing up against what looks to be a standard Paladin. Let's check the deck list a little bit. Alright, so on the Paladin side of things, there are Zombie Chows, but besides that, it looks pretty standard. Only one Quartermaster, and then there's also a Lay on Hands and a random Senjin. Interesting. But pretty standard list besides that. Now, the Shaman deck in question looks to be one of the more aggressive ones. There is Cogmasters and an Enhanso Meccano. So, interesting to say the least. Now, first couple turns, pretty self-explanatory. Just a Knife Juggler gets axed off by the Rock Biter. This is where things get rough, though, for the Shaman as opposed to the Paladin. This True Silver is going to take out this 3-4 for free. And there's no real good way of responding to that. This True Silver is going to do some serious work. You're going to have to probably coin Drake. Yeah, coin Drake. Is just, at this point, it's just Drake Fire Elemental. Okay, he wants to go for the coin Fire Elemental. Interesting. But yeah, Senjin, kill the Spider Tank for the True Silver. This is a lot of value. This is a worrying amount of value on the side of GameKing, actually. He's losing a lot. There's the Enhanso Meccano, which not doing too much right now, but that will be played later on in the game. And this is when you just have to go for the Azure Drake and then try and set up some sort of Lightning Storm play. Aldor Peacekeeper is an okay decision here. There's also Muster for Battle, Aldor. I think that's good. The problem with doing that is that you lose your Aldor. And that Aldor It might be useful later on because of the fire elemental, so I'm not sure how I feel about using it here. But I think you still have to, otherwise you get blown out by lightning storm completely. So yeah, trying to kill this off, and he's gonna storm here. She knows she's getting stormed is the point. So just trying to mitigate that as much as possible. Now just watch, it's gonna be spell power totems and then lightning storm rolling high. Let's see if it ends up working out that way. Yep, there's the spell power, and is this the roll high? I want to see this. Come on, roll high. Aww. Not quite enough RNG to fit in one turn. That's disappointing. Yeah, you slam boom here. Usually you want to slam the boom and kill off the spell power totem. I am disappointed that that Senjin didn't die. But, oh well, the RNG balances out a little bit. Yeah, we're just going to see a Hex and then a Mech Warper try and kill off some of these 1-1 boom bots. And now we have a board position that's, to be perfectly honest, quite stable. Nothing really happening. I mean, you go Belcher Hero Power here, and then the question is, what do you do with these boom bots? Do you trade? I think you do. Try and get this Mech Warper off the board. Trade into this Mech Warper, see where these boom bots go. Slight mistake in the ordering there, because the first boom bot could have killed the Mech Warper entirely, which would have been a waste of the weapon charge. But didn't turn out to be a big deal. That Taunt Totem is going to be very irritating, however, because yeah, otherwise you just would have been able to kill the totem off or top deck, say, Consecration, I guess it would have been. I mean, the question is, do you equality? That's the real question here, is do you equality to kill this? Personally, I don't think you do. I'm not sure I agree with this. I mean, you can go Shredder Hero Power. You do keep your full Sludge Belcher. But I don't know. It's a tricky call. Definitely a tricky call. That Anoratron is going to be very useful as we get later into the game, because Anoratron is one of the best walls in the game. Vitality Totem, gonna do some work. In all seriousness, Vitality Totem's gonna be very good here. Consecration, that's a good top deck. That's a Consecration for the ages right there. I think this is, awkwardly enough, Consecration into Harrison. Well, I mean, you attack the Anoratron, and then you go Consecration into Harrison, and it leaves you with a Vitality Totem and board advantage. Behind 2 taunts. That is a very, very good setup on the side of Icegirl. Yeah, Harrison is better than the Hero Power there. The Hero Power is worth essentially a 3-3, but I think the opportunity cost is not high enough to the point when you don't play the Harrison. Oh, there's the Boom. That's going to be really handy moving forward. Boom is pretty much the best value card you can have. Aldor Peacekeeper, the second one comes out. Now this looks like a Hero Power and then just value. Just attack the Harrison into the 3-3. And then actually Aldor the 4-4. That works. I'm not sure about the trade though. That I'm not sure about. I think maybe attacking the 3-3 was better there. We'll have to see though, but I think that may come back to bite her a bit. If this hits Wind Fury, this is going to be brutal. This is the Enhancer Mechano turn. And it does! 3 Wind Furies! 3 Wind Furies, 1 Divine Shield. And the Divine Shield is on the worst possible thing! You have to suicide everything just to kill that Boom. That's horrible. This board changed drastically very fast. I actually think you just kill the Boom here. Sacrifice everything to kill the Boom, and then just go for some sort of zombie chow, dump your hand with Quartermaster. I would actually say, though, you want to kill this boom. This boom will kill you. This is the last big thing in the deck, so if you kill the boom and the boom bots are left around with not many targets, then you're in a good spot. So I would definitely kill the boom here. With just run one into the Divine Shield, one of the 3/3s into Divine Shield, and then kill it off. I would not kill the boom bot here. The other alternatives are just trading stuff off. The problem with doing that is it's much, much easier to deal with lots of small stuff as Paladin than it is to deal with certain big threats. This could end badly, going for that boom bot. Oh, it's hitting the Harrison. Didn't quite go for it. Didn't quite kill it. Now, this has stabilized in the opposite respect. But then there's a Defender of Argus, which is going to be brutal, because it's going to just put the 7/7 behind a wall. Defender of Argus may be quite good here. You can go Shredder, Defender, and that's just annoying. Because the Shredder won't die to one of the 3 attack minions. This is really, really rapidly changed on the side of GameKing here. A couple of turns ago, he was so far behind, and now I think he's actually going to win. There is nothing here to deal with this. He needs Doomsayer off of this... well, she needs Doomsayer to come off this Shredder. Should definitely attack into the Shredder and try and get Doomsayer. And that's pretty much where you've got to go from here. Explosive Sheep is absolutely brutal, actually, in the wrong direction. This is not good. You can actually almost wipe the board entirely from one side, and a Neutron being the top deck. It needed to be Doomsayer, not Explosive Sheep. Board wipe. This is... yeah, I think this game is over. This game is over. I'm calling it here. I don't think there's a way back from this. True Silver off the top, and that Neutron is living up to its name right now, being excessively annoying. I don't know if there's a card combination that that would win for the Paladin here. Not that you can top deck. I guess maybe Divine Favor into a quality Consecrate. Just Consecrate would be good here, actually. Well, not anymore. Not with the Mechanical Yeti. Muster is not going to do much. Yeah, you have to play the anti-heal bot, just kill the Neutron, play the Muster, Hero Power, and hope for the best. I mean, there's no Quartermaster left in the deck. There is, in fact, no Quartermaster, so this is not going to be explosive. This is just sort of value play. Cogmaster, not the best top deck there, but I don't know if it's going to matter at this stage. Yeah, killing off as many of these 1/1s as possible makes sense. Going straight for the face, though. Going for lethal next turn. I mean, there is a grand total of, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16 damage on one side of the board. And I think that's game. I don't think you can respond to enough damage here. Let's see, what can you do? You can kill 2 guys, leaving 11 on the board. Yeah, that's game. There's no way back from that. You could kill the Yeti, which would give you a spare part. You could get the freeze. I mean, that's only 10 damage. There's only 10 damage. That's not enough. But then top deck mech. So yeah, that's going to be the lethal coming from that Piloted Shredder. Not something you hear every day, but yeah, that Cogmaster does in fact trigger again, presenting the lethal for GameKing, who goes 2-0 up. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Recovering from a 2-0 deficit in Conquest is close to impossible, because you have to beat one deck 3 times with 3 different matchups, which is very, very unlikely. Now, staying with the Paladin here, makes sense. Probably the deck she's most comfortable with. Playing against Mech Mage, however, with the Double Mad Scientist Mech... Not Mech Warper. Chugga Chugga. Snow Chugger, yeah. I don't know, it's just... He's called Snow Chugger, but I call him the Gentleman Mech because he looks like he's wearing a top hat and a mustache. And then he's just known because of Chugga. So, yeah, that turn 2 freeze water elemental mech thing is going to be absolutely disgusting because it's just going to stop any true silvers. Funnily enough, there are no true silvers, but the point is that it would have shut down any true silvers if they were there. This appears to be a coin shredder being the play here on the side of the Paladin, and then next turn you've got Goblin Blast Mage, Mechanical Yeti, Frostbolt. There's some good plays on the side of GameKing here. This may be a very fast game. I don't know about this this Aldor. I think I would have played... Yeah, I think I would have played Shredder there, and then next turn maybe gone for the Aldor on the 4-drop. That was one of the worst Blast Mages I've seen in a very long time. That was horrible. I guess that maybe balanced things out a little bit. The problem is that this is Mirror Entity. Guaranteed, almost. That's one of the reasons why you want to get the Shredder down first, because this is pretty much Mirror Entity, and how do you play around Mirror Entity? You don't. You play Shredder, and it gets Mirror Entity'd, and that's pretty much the game. But you can't just pass. If you just pass, you lose. So yeah, there's the Mirror Entity. Maybe it would have been better to pass there, and if you pass, you lose, so I don't know what that really says about the game state right now. Getting a 2-2 off a Shredder, not too bad, but yeah, it just gets killed by the Frostbolt. Then we see a Spider Tank. There is an Equality Consecrate that can come out here. I think now maybe the turn where this Equality Consecrate is going to come out. Going for the Sylvanas. The only problem with going for Sylvanas here is that you are going to be taking 12 damage. In fact, I would just go for it. Just go straight to the face. I wouldn't even play Scientist here. I would ping the face. Because that sets up exact Fireball lethal next turn. And that seems to be all she wrote. I mean, you can go Equality Consecrate and then kill the Shredder. That works. And I want to point out that if he had used a ping instead of the Scientist last turn, he would have won the game. Next turn. I mean, if he top decks Frostball or Fireball, it doesn't matter, but the point is that sometimes it's the little mistakes that can come back to bite you. Although, probably not in this case. Getting that 3-2. So yeah, that's Mirror Entity. Piloted Sky Golem. Alright, so yeah, just slam the Sky Golem, and there's a Cloak, and I think that's going to be game. I don't really see a way back from that. I guess you could play True Silver, or no, you play Anti-Killbot. Is that enough? No, I don't think it is. No, it's not. That's not enough. You go up to 16, but then Mirror Entity, and then he's got 12, 15, 16 damage exactly. That is in fact the lethal, as long as he doesn't miss it, which has resulted in another 3-0 sweep. Last week we had a 3-0 sweep, and this week we had a 3-0 sweep, so very, very strange on that side of things. Again, trying to figure out whether best of 5 is too long or not, and it keeps getting thwarted. So GameKing takes the third and final game for the 3-0 sweep. Now, we had a couple of not so much interesting games, but just kind of weird games in some situations. We did notice that there was actually a lack of early game draws on the side of the Paladin there, as there were 2 Zombie Chows in that deck. Bit sad we didn't get to see the Recombobulators in the Priest. I kind of wanted to see that, but didn't end up getting drawn. Instead, we had the weird and wonderful kill with a Mana Wraith. I will say I have never seen a Mana Wraith that's been a 4/10 kill a Druid before. That is a first. That is a first. I've never seen that before, and it was hilarious. Then the second game was very close. It was very, very swingy towards the end, where the Paladin was ahead for the entire game, and then the Shaman managed to just crawl back And I think there were a couple mistakes on the side of Icegirl that really let that comeback come to fruition. As maybe killing the 7-7 instead of the small guys would have resulted in being able to win the game from there. But anyway, thank you all for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback, put it in the comment section below. The deck lists will be in the description if anyone wants to reference them, or in the tab next to this video if you're watching this on Hearthstone. But as for now, this has been Jotto, signing off.